Everything in this cosmos is held together by a spiritual force, a spiritual influence of Krishna. But according to this analogy, an important factor is when you look at the necklace, you see the colors and the beads and the pattern, you don't see the thread which is holding it. In the same way, in this world, there are many wonderful things that are seen in nature, and it is sustained, maintained, and arranged by a spiritual string, and that we don't see that thread which is holding. So I'll give you some examples from nature. When we study nature, we get a lot of insights about this world and what happens. Simple examples. Let's take a fruit in a tree, like a banana, a mango, or a papaya, which is initially green, unripe, and gradually it becomes ripe, and it changes the color. As we all know from elementary understanding, life sciences, the green color of the unripe fruit is because of chlorophyll. And then after a certain point of time, it begins to ripen, and it attracts the attention of birds, animals, mammals, humans, and it is dependent on them following dispersal of the seed that we use. Now let's go a little bit into how does this whole thing happen? Initially, in an unripe fruit, which is green in color, it's predominantly chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll is taking advantage of the sunlight and the nutrients coming from the soil, is converting into starch. In the initial state, it's by and large, it is starch. And at that time, the seed is still under preparation. Just around the time when the seed is almost completely formed, from science we understand, it triggers the ripening process. In most fruits, the trigger of the ripening process comes about by a natural process of creation of ethylene, which triggers the ripening process. And when the ripening process triggers, it turns on at the genetic level certain processes and turns off certain other processes. Primarily, three things happen. Number one, there are certain enzymes, and these enzymes start converting the starch into sugar. The second thing that begins to happen is that the fruit which was unripe, was solid, now begins to loosen up, and for that another genetic trigger occurs and all the cell walls begin to dissolve. And the third important process that sets in is the chlorophyll begins to disintegrate and another pigment begins to form, and that is one of the common pigments seen in the fruits. Deterioration of the chlorophyll and the formation of the xanthophyll, one which gives the yellow and the orange color to the fruits and the flowers, commonly seen in life systems. And if you study this is happening at a very, very molecular level. And another wonderful thing about this is strictly it is timed. At the right time when the seeds are formed and they are now ready, this ripening process kicks in and one after another starts happening. Conversion of starch into sugar, breaking down of the cell walls, and chlorophyll being replaced by xanthophyll. And all of these are at molecular level changes. Now, these discoveries, it has taken hundreds of years of time of research for some of the brilliant scientists around the world to understand this process, what is happening. In fact, I have given a very simplistic summary of what happens. Scientists are continuing to research at deeper and deeper levels how these things are triggering and what happens and what comes about, all of these things. Now, we admire, we adore, we appreciate the researchers and the brilliant scientists who discovered all of this process that's happening in a simple thing like a fruit, an unripe fruit becoming a ripe fruit, a green unripe fruit turning into a ripe, sweet, having the right flavor. If we admire and appreciate and adore the scientists who discovered this, what should we do about the designer who designed this, who devised this, who crafted it at a molecular level and developed it and set it into motion in an autopilot mode that the original designer is not involved at all and it all happens and unfolds automatically. This is the Sutre Manigana Ima, the invisible thread that holds and sustains nature. Some of you might have heard about one very eminent scientist, technologist, Eric Drexler from MIT. He was one of the very initial persons, researchers who worked on nanotechnology. When he was a student in MIT, at some point he gave a talk and then he wrote a paper, and then later on that led to writing of a book, and that became one of the foundations of nanotechnology. And he says the greatest inspiration for nanotechnology for him comes from nature. And he describes that what happens in a simple leaf all around us, how it is capturing the energy from the sunlight, breaking down some of the atomic bonds, reforming it, and absorbing carbon dioxide, and then releasing not any other toxic gas but oxygen back into the air. And all of this doing silently, without creating any noise pollution or any such thing. He goes on to say, what happens in a leaf is actually far more complicated than the best of the Intel chips that man has made. So, if we carefully look around us, just this one simple example that I gave about a fruit becoming an unripe fruit becoming a ripe fruit. But if we look around us, there are innumerable things that happen in the biological systems, in human systems, which are simply astounding. The elaborate arrangement and all of those things. Another example, many times I cite. When I was a young boy in school and college, I was very fascinated by science, and I used to go and attend all of the science models exhibitions, and I used to make some models and all of that. And sometimes the models would work and sometimes the models wouldn't work. And to get a model to work used to be a big challenge as a young boy in high school. Now, if you look at our blinking eyelids, they are perfectly timed. They blink on and off. It requires a lot of synchronization. And if it was not blinking like this, if it was blinking, how we would have all looked. It would have looked very odd, isn't it? And to synchronize the muscles to blink simultaneously. And how many times do we blink in a day? 1,000 times. In a lifetime, how many times? Millions of times. All along, unfailingly synchronized. Isn't it? It's like any other engineering system that has to be synchronized. So, if we study around nature all around us, we have plenty of examples of these wonderful things that happen. Like another subject that many of you will be familiar, what is known as pattern recognition. And today we have pattern recognition applications in biometric systems and many other. Suppose you are walking on a busy street. There are hundreds of people walking past you. What's happening? Our eyes are looking at each one of the faces, constantly processing. Oh, this is a face. I don't know this person. Reject. Another face. Reject. And suddenly one person comes up. Hey, he's somebody I know. Right? Never expected that person. It's a pattern recognition, and a far more intricate pattern than a simple fingerprint recognition. Not only we recognize the face, immediately all those things about that person that we know immediately is downloaded into our system, and we become, hello, how are you? Last time we met, isn't it? All of those recollections. And not just some data recollection, some emotions associated with that. Oh, how wonderful it was last time when we met. Or maybe it was not so wonderful when we met. Whatever. We recall. So our eyes have this wonderful ability of constant eyes and the brain and all of this system working together. Some years back when I was young, we used to have a camera, we would focus and all that. Even now there are, but now at some point, cameras started coming in the market which have the autofocus arrangement. You look at an object, long distance, automatically it focuses. All our eyes are built with that arrangement, isn't it? You can look at this one, I can be looking and I can look at somebody at the last row. Immediately my lens, the cornea and all of those things focuses. Because exactly what happens in a camera, what is built into a camera today, actually that is what's happening in my eye also. So if we see sensitively things around us in nature, we begin to see there is such a wonderful design and pattern and arrangement and all of these things. Now, let's talk about spirituality, the relevance of spirituality. Once I had an opportunity, a young adolescent, two adolescent children, I was talking to them about spirituality. And their mother asked me, we have brought up our children in a very religious way, but now they have grown up and they are asking all kinds of difficult questions. Can you please answer something like that? Very good family, affluent family, gone around the world, go for vacation to Singapore, that kind of family, whom I knew. So I started talking to the two young people. I gave them some example. If you fly in an aircraft, generally in modern day, the jet flies at about 30,000 feet above mean sea. And sometimes the pilot announces that we are traveling, we are cruising at 30,000 feet or 35,000 feet, and the outside temperature is -5 degrees. And for your comfort, we are maintaining the temperature in the cabin at 25 degrees. And you look outside the window, you will see there is bright sunlight. Although there is bright sunlight, the temperature outside is -5 degrees. That is simply because at that height, the air is very rarefied, and particularly there is no carbon monoxide. Although there is sunlight passing through it, there is no gas to capture that heat. Whereas when the same aircraft lands on the ground, and that same sunlight will be maintaining the temperature here maybe about 25, 28, 30, 35, higher in summer. This is because of an important gas, many of you will be familiar, the greenhouse gas, the carbon dioxide, which is in the atmosphere, which has the property of capturing heat and retaining heat. Why there is carbon dioxide here on Earth, on the surface of the Earth, and after 30,000 feet in the air? It is simply because of gravity. The gravity is holding an atmosphere layer around the Earth, we understand from science. And it is because of that atmosphere, which has the right ingredients of carbon dioxide and the right quantity of oxygen and nitrogen and other things, that it is able to capture the heat and retain the heat and make life possible for all of us. If the gravity were not there, what would have happened? There would not have been an atmosphere. Why atmosphere? If there was no gravity, we would all not have been seated comfortably like this. We would all be like helium balloons, somewhere stuck in the ceiling. Or we must have something to hold us back, every one of us. Gravity is a very neat arrangement. You see, everything is pulled down and then Everything is stuck to the surface, and now you have to organize yourself on the surface. That's all. Come here. There's some space here. So if we look around these wonderful examples that we come across, and this entire facility of gravity, do we pay any money to anyone for using and taking advantage of gravity? There is no gravity tax. Even in the new GST regime, there is no gravity. Thankfully, we don't have to pay for gravity. We don't have to pay for carbon dioxide. We don't have to pay for oxygen. We don't have to pay sunlight for sunlight. So all of this is available. So I was talking to these young people, and then I told them that, do you know, there is only one person who gives you and never charges you. Anyone else will charge. So you use your mobile phone, at the end of the month you get a bill. If you don't pay, you get disconnected. You use electricity in your home, and if you don't pay the electricity bill, it can get disconnected. That's true for all of these things that are very essential and that we use. But there is only one person who gives and does not charge. And you know who that is? That's our Father. Father and mother, they take care of us from a very young age, and then at the age of 25 they don't come to you and say, my dear son, my dear daughter, I've been feeding you for 25 years, this is the food bill. I've been giving you accommodation last 25 years, this is the accommodation bill. No, you just give free. The same way, there is only one person who gives us freely and never asks, and that is our Supreme Spiritual Father. Then I told these two young kids, if you like something, if you are in need of something very interesting, very attractive thing for you, and I come and give you that, and you are happy with that, then what do you say? They said, thanks. And then I told them, if somebody gives you something, and if somebody gives, you go and give somebody something very interesting, and they take it, and then they walk away, what will you say? And they said, bad manners. So I told them in the same way, spirituality is about recognizing and acknowledging all of the wonderful arrangements that we are recipients of, beneficiaries of, for which we don't pay. It is the sensitivity that we must develop. So, spirituality is about actually recognizing these truths around us that will make us better people in this world. That spirituality gives a framework for compassion, for feelings of another person, being sensitive to other person's requirements. Otherwise, we can just be materialistic automatons. There is another important aspect of spirituality. Why spirituality is important in material life. That's what we are talking about. In material life, in our lives, always there could be some, life could be good and we could be having all good things in life. But there are occasionally, no one can deny, some reversals can happen. And those reversals can happen in a most unexpected time. Some days back I got an email which has been doing these rounds, like somebody keeps sending on WhatsApp or email or something. A series of pictures of celebrities in the world just a few moments before their death. And one of the most striking picture which struck me was the picture of John F. Kennedy. There was a motorcade, you may remember this picture. In an open car, he is sitting and his young beautiful wife, Jackie Kennedy, is with him. And there is a big motorcycle behind, 2 or 3 or whatever, I don't know. And it's a motorcade, it's part of the motorcade. And he is waving, and all those people there were his supporters. Because America was going through a lot of difficulties in early 60s. And John F. Kennedy was a very charismatic leader, a brilliant strategist, a good politician. And America was very hopeful that John F. Kennedy is going to change and bring a lot of good things for them. He had great supporters and admirers, and he was waving at all of them, and suddenly, bang, 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 falls on the lap of his wife. Wow. So, life is like that. There can be challenging situations, difficulties may come in one's life. And how do we face those difficulties? Like in our institutions, in IITs, there has been, very sadly, students ending their lives. It's a great loss to the country, great loss to the family. It's an irreparable loss to humanity. So, challenges will come in life, and how do we face them? Spirituality can equip us and can give us that knowledge and understanding how to handle these kind of difficult situations. Spirituality tells us the message of the Gita, the message of the Vedic literatures, and the message given in all the great traditions in the world. They explain that there is, other than this material level of existence, there is another higher level of existence called the spiritual existence. And we can all learn how. There is a process, there is a technique, there is a science, there is an art. How we can learn to rise ourselves to another awareness of spiritual truth and spiritual existence. And understanding and appreciating that spiritual existence does not mean that we cannot live and operate on the material existential level as well. So there is a material level of existence and there is a spiritual level of existence. There are two realities. Right now we think that generally our education, all of our learning is only about the material level of existence. We don't know about the spiritual truth and the spiritual reality that exists. We are ignorant about that level of existence. And we can be, this existence of spiritual level can be awakened by a simple process. And if we understand that there are two levels, and we learn the art of navigating from one level to another, because the spiritual level, there are no difficulties. It's another kind of a level. All of the challenges of dualities are in the material level. Success and failure, profit and loss, happiness and distress. All of these dualities are on the material level. On the spiritual level, it is a level of pure happiness, pure existence. And spirituality enables us to transcend from the material to the transcend, to the spiritual level, and operate at both levels simultaneously. Say for instance, someone is having a dream, and in the dream, say for instance, I am sleeping and I am having a dream, and I am in my dream, there is a tiger chasing me. And I am running and running. I don't know, it's somewhere in some forest. There's no place I can hide. And then look back and the tiger is leaping. I could be sweating, going through that nightmare. How can someone else help me? If you can somehow get into my dream, and if you can somehow get hold of a dream gun and shoot the dream tiger, I could be thankful to you. But that's not easy. But there's another way you can help me. Wake me up. Oh, there's no tiger. Where am I running? I'm pretty safe. Spirituality is like this. We are in a state of slumber about that spiritual level and spiritual reality. We are sleeping here and dreaming in an existence of duality. And there are other people trying to help. I'll come and help you this way. They're all, like the dream tiger and the dream gun and the dream chase and all those things. It will help to some extent if I find in the dream. And then if the tiger is too ferocious and maybe the man who came to help me, both of us will have to start running. So, it's not a very, very lasting solution. There's another way of looking at it. Rise to a spiritual level of existence and awareness, and then you will see, you look at this world in a different way. Whatever I am saying, there is a material level of existence and there is a spiritual level of existence. It is not just some kind of a hypothesis. There are many examples of great spiritually trained people who were able to live in this understanding of spiritual level of existence and simultaneously being conscious and dutiful about the material level of existence. There is one story in the Mahabharata. One of the characters in the Mahabharata who went through a lot of trouble and misery in life is Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas. Of course, Pandavas went through a lot of trouble, no doubt. When a mother is watching the child suffering, it's more suffering for the mother than the suffering of the child. Those who are mothers and fathers will know, and those who are young who don't know, one day you will realize. And so Kunti was a mother and she saw that suffering of her children. And so there is at one point, Kunti comes in front of Krishna. This is after the Kurukshetra war. Kunti's son, Maharaj Yudhishthira, has been made the emperor. And now after he is being installed as the emperor, Krishna is returning from Hastinapur back to Dwarka. Hastinapur is in Delhi, modern Delhi, and Dwarka is in a rather extreme in Gujarat. So he was about to return to Dwarka. At that time, different Pandavas come and offer their prayers and their farewell to Krishna, who was about to depart. At that time, Kunti also comes and offers her offering. And at that time, she recalls. She says, Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshana Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha Mrudhe Mrudhe Aneka Maharathastrato Dhamyastra Chasma Hare Virakshila. She's actually giving a summary of all the miseries and the calamities she has experienced from childhood of her children's younger days. Vishan Mahagne, when Pandavas were young, very young, they were administered poison to be killed. They were put in a house and the house was set on fire. Somehow they were saved. Vishan Mahagne, Mahagni, Purushada Darshana, we encountered. And when they were in the exile, Pandavas, they encountered varieties of difficulties, and one of them was a man-eating demon, and Bhima had to kill him, and so on. Purushada Darshana. And then Asat Sabhaya, and then it was an assembly of uncivilized men who tried to disrobe Draupadi. As a mother-in-law, she went through all of those difficulties. Vanavasa Krichrataha, and when they were in the forest, Vanavas, difficulties of many varieties they encountered day after day, the Pandavas. Vanavasa Krichrataha. Budhe Budhe Aneka Maharathastrato. And then the Kurukshetra war happened, and there were so many powerful warriors the Pandavas had to face. And then the war was about to end, and at that time, Dramyastra, there was one very Ashwatthama, when Pandavas had 5 children, and they were still small children, and he went and beheaded all the children. Just see the difficulties Kunti had gone through. And so you would expect that Kunti is recalling all of these miseries we have gone through. Krishna, now in future, please protect us that such miseries don't come to us. We would expect. But you will be surprised. In the next shloka, Kunti Devi says, Vipadaha santudaha shashvat tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsya apunar bhavadarshanam. She's saying, my dear Krishna, in my life we have gone through all of these calamities. Let such calamities continue to come in my life. Usually we go to temple, we go to a sacred holy place, and we pray to God. God, I have all these miseries, take away these miseries. Kunti is right in front of God, and she is saying, let these, not even difficulties or vipat. Vipat means in Sanskrit calamity, not small mistake, a small disease or something coming like that. Let these vipadaha santudaha shashvat, means let these calamities continue to come. Because she is seeing that when those calamities came, it was an impetus for her to rise to the spiritual level of existence and have a spiritual experience which was actually so blissful that the material calamities became insignificant. So she saw that the calamities were a trigger to rise to a spiritual level of experience, spiritual experience. So she was welcoming that. She said, let such things continue to happen. Because these experiences always brought me to a very extraordinary spiritual experience. And that is what I look forward to. So this is the experience of a spiritualist. So spirituality and an understanding of spirituality enables us to rise to a higher level of spiritual existence. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very practical message, now sometimes there is a fear among some people that if we take the spirituality, what will happen to my material pursuits and ambitions and the career and all of that I have planned? Will that all be diluted and I cannot pursue that? Will that such a thing happen? No, it's not so. Krishna says to Arjuna, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mam anusmaram yudhyacha Mayarpita mano buddhir Mameva eshyasi asamshaya. Krishna does not say something that is impractical. He does not say, Arjuna, I have now told you about the spiritual existence and spiritual reality. You just live in that. No. He says, you should Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmarayudhyacha. You must be aware of that spiritual reality and fight. And that's what we see after the hearing the Bhagavad Gita. We don't see Arjuna going into the forest or to the Himalayas. He was still a warrior. He continued to fight. In fact, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, he was refusing to fight. And after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he became a man of action. He was in the beginning a man of inaction. But now he was a man of action with enlightenment. And so it is not that if we have to pursue spirituality, our material life will someday get affected. It does not have to. In fact, as human beings, we are all competent to run our lives on multiple tracks. Like for instance, Albert Einstein was a brilliant scientist that we all knew. And very often, every day practically, he would spend a little time playing on his piano. He was very interested in music too. Some of the symphonies he developed as a pianist also. So someone could be a scientist, could also have some interest in music. Many people have maybe an engineer or a doctor or whatever, and may have some interest in music, literature, or games. We run our lives on multiple tracks. We are all capable of doing that. So in the same way, we can have a track for material development and ambition and all of career, and we can have one more track in our lives of spiritual development. We may give a little attention to it on a daily basis. When we are a little more free, we give a little more attention to it. Like say if you like music, what would you do? Every day you may practice a little bit or may not also. And over the weekend when you get a little more time, you'll spend longer hours on so that you develop and you catch up yourself and develop your musical skills. So very much the same way, we can practice spirituality while we are continuing our material life and goals. And it will only help us to become spiritually rejuvenated and stronger and ability to face the challenges and the difficulties that we come across in life. That's the beauty of spirituality. So sometimes people may ask this question. Someone may be very spiritual, may also have some difficulties, may be going through some difficulty. But when a person who is spiritually enlightened, when that person goes through those difficult moments, it's actually a completely different experience. That is why Kunti is saying, let vipadaha santutaha shashvat. Because she knows, she has tasted what it is to be on a spiritual platform, and that experience is completely different. Even though material difficulties are there. To help us understand this, with this I will close. Our acharyas give an example. We have seen a cat, a mother cat. The cats go around looking for a mouse and catch a mouse. And right when the cat catches a mouse and it is holding between the claw in its jaws, what is the experience for that mouse? Death, isn't it? Full of fear and anxiety for that little mouse. Sometimes the same mother cat goes around, picks up her kitten in the same way. The kitten is also held in the jaws of the mother cat. What is the experience the kitten is going through? It's a gulf of difference what the mouse was going through and what the kitten is going through. Kitten is so happy, my mother is carrying me, why I should worry? I'm so safe. Externally speaking, it's clutching in the jaws of the cat. But one will experience great comfort, another is experiencing a death trap. This is the difference between someone who is not having spiritual awareness and what he or she goes through in life. And when somebody has that spiritual awareness, what he or she goes through in life, even if there are challenges and difficulties. This is sometimes people get angry. God has created this world and so many miseries are there in this world. Why these miseries are coming to me? Sometimes people, I've come across some people that are very angry. I knew one family, they were and then the daughter in their family met with an accident and then she was admitted in the hospital and the family was known to us and they were Christian families. And so I went there and to see that the girl had a brother and we were talking and they were pious people. He took the Bible and threw it on the floor. Why did God do this to my daughter, my sister? Like that people become angry at God like that. God has also given us knowledge about spirituality. Why don't we learn and understand that? So that we know how to face all of these difficulties and challenges that may come in our life. That is the nature of this world. And the beauty is in Vedic knowledge. There is so much depth and vastness of information about spirituality and spiritual truths. Just to give you an example, with this I'll truly close. You see, if you read the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna gives all kinds of reasons why he should not fight. If you carefully read, the arguments are very sound that Arjuna is giving. He says, Krishna, I'm seeing Dronacharya, my teacher there, in the army there. I'm seeing Bhishma, my grandfather there. And I can see all my cousins there. My teacher, my grandfather, they are pujarha. I must be showering flowers at them. What's become of me? I'm standing here, ready to shoot arrows at them. They may be greedy for kingdom. Should I respond with my greed for kingdom? Can I not be more gracious and go to the forest? Why should I fight? Even if this war were to happen, and even if I become victorious in this battle, I will get a kingdom which will be stained with the blood of my own grandfather and teacher and my cousins, and will I be able to enjoy such a kingdom? Then he gives a very dharmic reasoning. Krishna, if this battle happens, there will be soldiers on my side, soldiers on the side of the Kauravas. So many soldiers will be killed. And when so many soldiers are killed, back at home, their wives, they will all become widows. And when so many women are unprotected without a husband, there will be unscrupulous, immoral men who will commit adultery and bring about violence and difficulties for those women. And there will be adultery, and there will be children born out of such adultery. And they will not have the guidance of dharmic path. And then they will commit all kinds of sin. And because of sin, there will be so much suffering. And I will be the cause of all that suffering. So, if you analyze these reasons that Arjuna gives, they're very sound, very ethical, very humanitarian, moral, dharmic. Now you will almost wonder, what is there for Krishna to tell, to convince him to do the opposite and to fight? In the next 45 minutes, Krishna speaks to him and changes his position. And in the end, Arjuna says, Nashta moha smutur latva karishye vachanam tava. Now my illusion is gone, and I am ready to follow what you say, Krishna. What is it that Krishna does? What is that new perspective and argument that Krishna brought about? That argument, that perspective, I won't go into it today. It is known as the Vedantic perspective. Veda in Sanskrit means knowledge. Etymologically, if you go into the word Veda, it comes from the root dhatu with, to know. Veda means knowledge, and Anta means the ultimate or the end of knowledge. So, it's a knowledge, it's the ultimate of knowledge known as Vedanta Darshana, which Krishna expounds in a short while, in a very succinct manner, and that is why Bhagavad Gita is a very revered and respected book in our country. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna develops about a dozen concepts, a little more than a dozen concepts, about 15, 16 concepts. And he explains these 16 concepts to Arjuna. And when Arjuna hears these 16 concepts, and with these 16 concepts, you weave a tapestry of a canvas of a new perspective of life and reality. And that's what happened to Arjuna. Now, in the light of those concepts, Arjuna saw the world around him in a different way. And in a different way that made him decide, yes, I see all the reason why this battle. That's the beauty of Vedanta Darshana. There is the beauty of this wonderful knowledge given in our scriptures, in our Vedic literatures. And we can take advantage of this, learn about spirituality. please don't ever fear that you will have to, what will happen to your material pursuits and the ambitions and the career that you have formed for yourself. You can continue to follow all of those. In fact, I was asked a question that how to balance spiritual and material life. Actually, material life and spiritual life needn't be seen as two compartmentalized aspects of our life. Arjuna was fighting the battle, Kurukshetra. Was that a material activity or a spiritual activity? It was a material activity which was spiritualized, and hence it was a spiritual activity. So there is an art how we can, our activities in the material world can be spiritualized. And then it simply does not matter. One could be doing his material things that one is expected to do in this world, but at the same time have a spiritual perspective, spiritual growth, spiritual development, spiritual enlightenment happening simultaneously. It requires a little guidance, it requires a little learning, just like anything else requires some learning and serious understanding. So, I would invite all of you to consider these wonderful aspects about spirituality. And spirituality is very, very essential and should be an integral part of our life. And there are wonderful methods given by our teachers how we can bring about this kind of integration. With this, let's close.